It is April 25, and this is Shankar Poncelé coming to you live from San Antonio with the idea that freedom can be achieved through crypto. If this is something that you believe in as well, then you are at the right stream, because today we will talk about freedom, what it means, and also how you could potentially get closer to maybe a version of freedom that you haven't seen yet in your life so far. That is definitely something I would wish for all of you. And if you don't know yet, the crypto lifestyle is a life that combines ideally health, energy, and freedom. Freedom being represented in financial freedom. So if you want to be part of a group, part of a tribe that thinks like that, I highly recommend you go to the landing page crypto.lifestyle, type in your email, and as a thank you, you will be shown how I generate 11% monthly on my capital. And that is a big part of my income strategy, by the way. You have the chance to learn from someone who is really walking the talk. I'm not just speaking out of theory, I'm walking the talk. And one aspect of streams like this one, where we look at a potential prediction of what Bitcoin is going to do, is that it is very, very theoretical, because what you do is you look at charts and then you do your technical analysis and you combine that with your experience, and then you make a decision on whether you invest in Bitcoin or not, whether you wait a little bit or not. And that decision making process is a little bit more authentic if you actually have to live it. If the decision of whether you purchase the crypto or not is one that impacts your life, or is it just something that is reflected in a digital number somewhere that doesn't really impact you? And that is truly what we're going to talk about a little bit today. And I, since it's Friday, we're going to get to the Bitcoin charts, but since it's Friday, I'm going to kind of take a slightly different approach and talk to you about what crypto means to me and why I have chosen to really focus a lot of my time and energy on it. And that is, it really has to do with a topic that, interestingly enough, before I started the live stream right now, Andrea and I watched a segment, a podcast, and the monk that was the invitee at the podcast essentially spoke about, what do you really want to do, right? What do you want to do with your life? What is your purpose? What do you want your legacy to be? And it it was very powerful, because he said that a part of what's going on is that we have too many options nowadays and too many decisions to make, and that we should often slow down a little bit and look inward into ourselves and decide, well, right in this moment, what do I want to be happy? And I did that together with Andrea when we made the decision to focus all of our efforts onto Crypto Alliance. And essentially, when you start a new thing, you think about, well, what are your core missions going, what are your core values going to be? And for us, it was and will always be this perfect trio of being healthy, having energy to enjoy that health, and then also it leading into financial freedom. We live in very, very, very interesting times where wealth can be created literally out of thin air because, quite frankly, if we look at a crypto meme coin, for example, that is wealth and value created out of thin air. And it is not tangible, right? It is you or a company or a group having an idea, wanting to form a community, and then attach value to that. So back to what really matters to me as someone who's leading this crypto alliance with Andrea and um, also with John is that I care so much about the health of someone who decides to embrace this journey. I care so much about the energy of someone who embraces this journey. And there is something to be said about the trading psychology and the psychology, the psychological stress that someone chooses to expose themselves to when they embark on this journey. Because really dealing with crypto can sometimes be stressful. So part of my mission is to make that journey as easy as possible for the Crypto Alliance so that they have less stress. And I take the stress on to learn everything, to explore everything first, to walk the talk, because I actually, for me, it's positive stress. It is, as I think about my purpose, is exactly what I want to be doing right now. Because I see in this idea of blockchain and crypto a way of preparing ourselves for a future that is going to be predominantly guided by artificial intelligence. And I know that a lot of you don't want to hear that, but that's exactly what I think will be the case. So, learning how to deal with how artificial intelligence will use value and transact with value, which will be blockchain and crypto, is really, really important. And for the very few, the pioneers who decide to do that now before it goes mainstream, they have the unique chance in life to learn a skill and also to invest in assets that will literally make them, will create generational wealth and generational opportunity. It's hard to see right now, and yet we are at the cusp of this happening. We are literally at the cusp of it happening because Bitcoin right now is sitting at this $95,000 level. We all know that the 100K level is a very psychological level. And I think we are very close to breaking through. Yes, we may reject one more time or even two more times before we do it, but we're going to break through that 100K level again. But this time is very different to previous time. This time it is within the context of the world, the world's leaders having woken up to the fact that this is most likely going to be the backbone of how finances work, how value is stored. Bitcoin is literally on track to becoming a viable alternative to gold. Gold is very precious. Don't get me wrong, I have no problem with gold, but it is a thing that started millennia ago. It is not a thing of the future. Because if you think about it, mankind is very close to leapfrogging off of this planet. And I know absolutely anything that humans can conceive of in their mind will materialize. And I know that colonizing other planets is really, we're close. We're very close. And how do you think value will be stored and transferred at that point? Do you think we will send up gold bars to other planets? No, it will all be based on the blockchains and on crypto. Now I understand. I'm reaching very far here. I'm reaching far. Uh, this is not very immediate, but this is something that is going to happen. Maybe you won't experience living on different planets. I hope so. You are healthy enough for that to be still something you can experience. But your children and your children's children, I'm absolutely convinced that they will see times where mankind lives in space on different planets. And how do you think value will be stored and transferred at that point? It will be with crypto and blockchain. So you have the very very unique chance in life to get ready, get in position for that. Maybe you will have grandchildren who will say, thank goodness that my great great grandparents, or you know what I'm trying to say, that they decided to build a foundation for our future in crypto, because now we are well off and we have opportunities that others don't. Yes, I'm a dreamer, but and I'm a little bit crazy right now, but it's only the people that are crazy enough, right, that will achieve amazing things in life. You got to be a little bit crazy to make these life-changing shifts. And I invite you into this lifestyle through the landing page crypto.lifestyle. You go there, you enter your name, and what will happen is you will get an invitation to a free masterclass where I teach in relatively beginner friendly ways how you can start as an investor in decentralized finance. I don't even want you to go off and start trading right away, because you will most likely lose money. It's just the way trading works. Is not easy, takes a lot of time, you have to learn so many things, and you'll lose money. But there are ways where you can use this industry and take advantage of the fact that there are lots of fees that are being generated when coins are being sold. And when coins are being bought, there's always a transaction fee, a gas fee, and you can tap into those fees. And that is specifically what I teach in the course behind crypto.lifestyle. All right, with that, that was kind of a little bit my Friday sermon. And I'll go over to the charts right now so we can all have an idea of what Bitcoin may or may not do over the coming weekend, really. I think it will be a very interesting weekend. And one thing that we've seen in the recent times is that we've really gotten a confirmation that crypto is 24/7. This is the Bitcoin chart, by the way. Let me bring it up so we can get ready to look at it together. Crypto is a 24/7 industry. It is not stopping on weekends. As a matter of fact, a lot of the big moves in recent times have happened over weekends. So what is the situation we are in right now is this one. So we're sitting here essentially. Let me actually go on to the daily time frame. It's a little bit more easier for us to grasp that. Okay, so what has been going on here? Well, we have had the American presidential elections. President Trump got elected. We got our Trump pump. And then he started messing with the economy. And we went into this phase here where we consolidated and ranged for quite some time. And then we got the China tariff war and the tariff wars, which pulled us down. And now we're kind of talking about easing up the tariffs and everything's looking a little bit bright. And that's where Bitcoin went and shoot back up, and we are here right now again, give or take 95,000. And you can see that I have this red bar here, and what that means is that there is a point of control here. There is a very important long-term both support when you looked at when it was ranging here, that's where this level acted as support, and resistance, of course, here, right? Right now, this is resistance. And the question is, can we just break through the resistance and finally go to reclaim all-time highs? That is, of course, what the bullish case would be. Or are we going, this is kind of also a middle path, as I always say, are we going to reject and bounce off of a lower level and then go high? Or are we going to maybe, that would be not so nice, going to lose this level and go into a recession? Right now, most experts agree that we are totally in for another leg of the bull run. It's just, when does it happen, right? When does it happen? Now, some influencers that I follow, they think that it's a little bit of a long shot, but they think that this here could play out. This situation where we are seeing this break through the upper resistance happening over the weekend. And that would give us a very, very strong pump, and we could potentially go as far as 110,000. So that is something we need to really be aware of, that it is a possibility, but I would say not highly likely. What is more likely, in my opinion, is something. I actually don't have that arrow on here. I'll bring it in here. So what I think is a little bit more likely are, in my opinion, is here rejection, where from where we are now, go down to test the level at 93,000 and then bounce off, come here into this zone of control, reject, but put in a higher high and a higher low, and then go up and finalize the last leg of the bull run. This is actually, let me put this in as another color. This is what I think is the most likely outcome. Of course, nobody really wants this the bearish case to be something that would happen, because we all deserve another leg of the bull run, I think. So the question is for you: where do you stand, and what do you want to do? I think that being a successful trader and investor is reading the charts, and then weighing the probabilities, and then making your choice on whether right now you would go long because you say, I do think that this could happen, this green case, or whether you go short because you think, well, I think the red case or the orange case will happen right now. Again, what is important is to play it as one of the crypto content creators that I like to watch. He says we take it level by level. We pay attention to what's going on. Right now, again, it looks, see that red candle forming here as we speak. It looks like price is pushing down. And the question now is, how far will it push down? Because it could also just push down to this area. It could go down as far as here. And then here's the VWAP, so it could also go here. So these are the three levels here that it could go down to. We take it level by level. That is important. What I like about DeFi and liquidity provisions is that one thing we do know is that price will move up and down. And if we have somewhat of an idea, for example, I think we can all agree that probability wise, price is going to go down, right? So we have an area here where price is going to go down. Yes, it will do that in a zigzag way always. Very rarely does crypto just go straight in one way. But did you know that you can capture the fees, the trading fees here, and you don't have to be the one trading, you can capture the trading fees. And that is something that I am teaching how to do that in the free upcoming masterclass on May 3rd, I believe, May 3rd. So how do you get to that? How can you be part of that? Very easy. You join crypto.lifestyle. And actually, I'm going to change this now as we are live. It says waitlist, but really it should say join my free masterclass. So let me do that right now. Oh, I need to first unhighlight it and then change it. Join my, wait, why is it not wanting me to do it? Oh, M is a letter that is a function letter. Okay, you get the idea. We'll keep it like that. Just make sure you join. Andrea said my Friday sermon was good, very real. Thank you, Andrea. So let's go into a little bit of a teaching lesson about technical analysis, because I did spend some time earlier to look at the chart and ask myself, what is something that I could teach my viewers today about this pattern here that is forming? So let me remove all the noise. Let me remove these arrows. And then what you always need to do is you need to kind of look at the charts at a time frame that matters to you. So generally speaking, I like the 4-hour time frame for events that you are looking to predict within the next 4 to 20 hours. Okay, if you go on a time frame that is too high, you don't have all the details. If you go in a time frame like the 15-minute, you get too many data points. This is good for people who like to trade intraday, just be in trades in and out in a couple of minutes. But for people who for most people, I believe, who like to place their trades without too much craziness, the 4-hour is a good one. And then what you see here is what we call a rising pennant. So we have this going on here where we have this up movement, and then you see how this triangle forms like this. Actually, let me build it. Let me draw it like so. Here you go. I think that, and I make this one a little longer. Like so. So you have this ascending or rising pennant. And when it comes to chart patterns, some are bullish and some are bearish. Now, this happens to be a bearish one. Why? Because the support line, the support and the resistance, they basically converge. And when price gets into the tip of the triangle, it is forced to do something. And this pattern is typically results in people saying, okay, it's kind of going up, but it's going up painfully, and I just want to take my profits now. And then the first person sells here, and then everyone else panics and they want to sell out too to keep their profits, right? because people will have bought into it along the way. So this is a cascading effect. And this is very much like what it looks like right now, that this is an ascending pennant and we have a bearish pattern. This pattern is also very important. You have to look these candles or bars at the bottom. That's the volume. Okay, so when you have a high bar, it means lots of people bought in green. When you have a high red bar, it means lots of people sold in red here, right? So one thing about the bearish pennant is that the phase where you have the up movement here has high volume, okay? And then what is characteristic for a bearish pennant is that as price behaves here in this ascending triangle pattern, the volume tapers down as it does. And that is also a sign of weakness, is a part of this, belongs to the bearish pattern. If all of these bars here were at the same level steady, then that would not cause a reason for bearishness. So why do we have this pump here? I think it is because we are psychologically at this very important level of breaking through 95,000. So whenever you are psychologically at an important level, humans behave a little bit differently. And I think a lot of people have been gotten very sick and tired of this long downtrend here, and we're all ready to go to the moon. And that is why there's lots of hope here to break through. And one of the experts I listened to said, sometimes when you have this pennant at a psychologically important level, you do break through. This could happen. It's unlikely in my opinion, but it could happen. And he actually placed a trade in that sense. I think his trade was as follows. Let me see, go back to the 4-hour. So you can use the long trade. Yeah, his entry would have been somewhere around here. And I think his stop was right under this wick here, around 93,500-ish, I believe. That was his stop loss. But he was betting on price moving. I mean, honestly, at least all-time high again, right? It was around 110. Yeah. So that's a trade he has taken, right? And it is a trade that, yeah, I mean, you have to have a thesis and then you place your trade and see how it goes. The important part really is that you have your stop loss. So the stop loss means when you enter your trade here, you already know no matter what happens, you're going to exit here. And that, why? Because you were invalidated in your thesis. And if you always control this, like for example, this should be never more than 1% of your entire trading portfolio, preferably even less, 0.5%, right? So if you do that and you stick to your risk management, then you're going to be fine. Now, what I did, I stuck a little bit more to this traditional interpretation of this rising pennant, and I accepted this as a bearish signal, and I placed a trade somewhat, it looks like this a little bit. It might not be the exact numbers, but that's what I did. And I believe I'm I'm definitely showing green numbers. So I'm already in profit, and we'll see who is right. We'll see who is right. Okay. So I think that's what I have for today. Let me look at LinkedIn if I have anyone who asked a question. I don't get your LinkedIn messages in here, which is why I'm on the phone, but I don't see anything, which is always a good sign. It just means that you explain stuff in a good way. Okay, well, I'm excited for the weekend because there is definitely going to be crypto action over the weekend. Don't forget that with the way I'm doing things is I always prefer to rely also not only on trading but on the liquidity provisions, being the bank in the markets. And when you do that, then you always make a little bit of passive income no matter what. Yeah, I always like to show you some proof of that, so let's do that today as well. I just need to show this. So here you see my daily rewards right now, 44 bucks, and that depends on how much I have deployed, right? But what do you think would 44 bucks a day do to your life? Would your life change in a good way or in a bad way? And if you think that this is something that you would want as well, you would want to learn that as well, very easy. You go to crypto.lifestyle, and then here I have a sign up to the next live session where you can ask me your questions on May 3rd. Okay. So go ahead and do that. I look forward to your questions. I look forward to seeing you. For now, I am pretty much done for today. I thank you so much for your time and attention, and I'll see you very, very soon on this platform again. Bye-bye for now.